Well, good afternoon, everyone. Meteorologist Michael Wilhite here with Southern Indiana Weather, bringing you a forecast update. Oh man, do we have some messy weather coming our way this week. By now, of course, you've probably heard about snow potentially here on Tuesday night. Thursday night, another snow chance as well. We got more snow chances coming up next week, folks. Winter is kicking into high gears. Keep it tuned right here to Southern Indiana Weather for the latest. We've got some messes headed our way. Here's a system, though, right now. Just to sort of give you an idea where it's at. This little mess that you've got going on up here, not overly looking impressive right now, but that will slide down in a fashion similar to this and come over our area on Tuesday night. Now, back behind it, still out in the Pacific Ocean here, off the map, is our next system that will then affect us after that on Friday. It's going to be a little while before it gets here, but we've got by tomorrow night at this time, we will be having snow knocking on our doorstep. Now, temperatures tonight, let's just talk about that again really quickly to get this out of the way, folks. Bitter temperatures coming again tonight, single digits very likely around the area. If you're in those urban heat islands, well, you may be preserved just a little bit. Evansville, the GFS forecasting around 10 degrees here. So, but if you're outside of the city in any regard, you're likely going down to single digits, pretty similar to what we saw this morning. Highs tomorrow, though, will warm up a lot nicer. We're only going to go up to about 16 or so this afternoon, but by tomorrow afternoon, we're going to rise into the low 20s around the area again. That'll feel like a heat wave compared to where it's been, but that's still bitterly cold air, and that cold air is already locked into place so that by the time this system moves in on Tuesday night, cold air is already there. Absolutely no chance whatsoever it's going to be rain. It's going to be snow. There's no doubt about that. Now, let's just sort of take an idea, look here at the modeling and show you what's going on right now. Let's first look at the GFS. There is the snow diving down here along this shortwave, moving down here from Montana and down here into Nebraska. Watch it dive down over us so that by the time Wednesday comes, we've got what could be at least a decent little accumulation coming. I'll show you some snow maps here in a second. It's not going to be a mega storm for us by any means, but I do think that could be a potential that this one could be an overachiever. That one moves out of the way, and then by the time you got Thursday coming in, you got our next system down to our south. GFS deepens the low pretty quickly here, and we've got some snow moving in. Notice how the GFS doesn't take the precipitation shield here very far into Indiana right now. The models have been going back and forth on this, so there's a lot up into the air right now. I'm fairly high in confidence that we're getting snow Tuesday night. By the time Thursday night comes, though, what's going to really it's a low confidence yet, because the reality is I'm very much confident there's going to be a storm. The question is, how far north can that storm go? That's going to depend on the track that the path of the snow lays down on Tuesday night. We got to get that nailed down first, because that's going to directly affect the way this one will. But as of right now, there's another storm system that could potentially affect us. And then as you go later into the time period there's another little snowmaker for northern Indiana early next week. But then we've got what could be another potential nightmare of a storm coming on for us next Tuesday and Wednesday. So that one is way out in time right now. There's not much that we can say about it other than just a heads up. But it is there in the modeling nonetheless. And as we go further into the modeling, you see more systems coming in there as well. So plenty of chances for accumulating snow coming up over the next couple of weeks per the GFS. So let's look at the GEM. The Canadian model has usually been, well, frankly, it's been a lot more consistent than what the GFS has. Well, let's take a look at it. Here's that snow coming in on Wednesday. So it is saying all snow for us across the area. That moves away. Then we've got our system coming in for Thursday. Could be a messy situation. You notice it's kind of covered up by some of the numbering here, but you notice some pink shades moving in. That would be some possible sleet or freezing rain, wintry mixed precipitation, possibly at the onset of that before some snow comes in here with that. And it looks like it could even be some heavy snow for some people with that. So if the GEM solution is right here, it could be a pretty well major winter storm. I don't have the Euro pulled up here for you as well. Euro is also on board for an idea of a big winter storm for Friday, when Thursday night into Friday. The question is, who gets it? Right now, it gets the biggest of the totals down in Kentucky for us, but the reality is that may trend a little bit more north. That's kind of what tends to happen over time. It may have the storm suppressed a little bit too far to the south. That may take that jog a little bit more towards north and get it over us. That's something that we got to watch out for. We've seen that time and time again on the modeling. Either way, we've got snow this week coming. So let's deal with the Tuesday system first then. What kind of accumulations could we expect? Well, Let me just back this up and let's show you. This is the GFS model here, and let's put this into time so that you can time out your accumulations. There's the snow swath coming in. By the time you're getting into the early overnight hours, Tuesday night into Wednesday, by the time you get into about 1 a.m., there you go. You're starting to see the snow accumulation already affecting us around the area. And then it moves on pretty quickly by the time 7 a.m. Wednesday morning comes. Louisville area, not seeing a whole lot yet, but southwest Indiana definitely having a rough commute already with multiple inches down, maybe an inch there in Washington, 1.6 inches there already according to this for the Evansville area. And then as you move on throughout the day, it moves out. Now the GFS, this particular run has much lower snow totals for us than it did on some of the previous runs. So we'll see whether that holds out or not. At this point in time right now, it's just going to be wait and see. I'm not going to make a snowcast map right now. I'm going to wait for the data to roll in tonight because I've not been overly impressed with this morning's runs. Not because I'm wishing for necessarily more snow, but I don't have a lot of the complicated upper dynamics of the atmosphere pulled up. But just suffice it to say, what I see on the upper level charts and on the surface charts don't really jive well together. The upper level energy not seeming to mesh up well with where the surface low should be at. So I have some questions about whether these morning models are really seeing things right or not. Nonetheless, this is the data that we have got to work with right now. And again, the GFS would suggest accumulating snow for us, 2 to 3 inches really across the area with that. Here's what the NAM says, and the NAM is a little bit more bullish on its totals. Good 3, even some pockets of 4 inches around the area on the NAM. If we go to the GEM, the GGEM here, the Canadian model, see it kind of has an even weirder look where it has this sort of split on it, where you've got some heavy snow down here towards the Paducah area, and it sort of lightens up over us as you move into here. And so let's put this into motion over time. There you go. There's through our storm total accumulation of only, an inch or two around the area. So again, it's got some weird dynamics here as well. I'm not overly impressed with the morning models, the way they've handled this. I'm hoping that maybe the evening models start to correct some things tonight. Here's what what the Euro did for yesterday, by the way. I don't have a snow map up for its run today, but it's just a tiny bit less, but it's pretty similar, 2 to 3 inches area wide. This is at a 10 to 1 ratio, though, and it's going to be such colder air. We're going to be more like 12 to 1 to 15 to 1 around the area. This Euro would give us a 3 to 4 inch snow around the area. So you've got some models saying an inch or two. You got some models saying 3 or 4. You got another model saying 2 to 3. Again, a general 1 to 4 inch around the area seems pretty reasonable, but I think we can dial it in more specific and say probably 2 to 4 inches around the area. It seems most reasonable to me at this point for this system. So not a major snow system moving in on Tuesday night into Wednesday morning, but rush hour Wednesday morning certainly can be impacted. So keep that in mind. All right. And then, of course, beyond that, we've got more systems working in. We'll have to dial in for that Thursday night, Friday system as well. I will say this. I don't have the snow maps up. I don't want to show the snow maps at this point because it's not really any point. Let's get through one system first. But I will say this. There is the potential for that to be a pretty big one. And I think that someone in our area could end up seeing 4, 5, even 6 or more inches around the area. But we have to dial in exactly who it is that's going to get that first before we can really start to show some of those snow maps and figure out more specifics on the totals for who gets what. Right now, we just got to get this first system out of the way first. Then we'll be able to see, I think, with a little more clarity in the modeling, what's going on. But right now, it looks like 2 impactful storms this week. So if you've got, of course, travel plans, it could be affected, so just keep that in mind. Go to southernindianaweather.com, folks. You can click on 10-day forecast. Here it is again, highs today, bitterly cold. Going down to the single digits again tonight. We warm up some tomorrow, but then snow is likely as we head into Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. Again, snow accumulation likely. I do think 2 to 4 inches around the area is probably a pretty reasonable guess at this point, but it will have a snow cast out later. If not late tonight, then early tomorrow morning at the latest. I'll have one out for you. I want to see some better data first. And then beyond that, we do warm up at least into the low 30s around there. Might even have a chance of mixing in some rain on Thursday, but I really am questioning that at this point. I'm thinking it's probably going to be more snow. Not ready to commit to all that yet, but again, we'll get those details a little bit more fine-tuned. I do think there's going to be some snow accumulation for someone. Could even be us. We'll just have to see. We dry it out for the weekend, though, and we'll start to warm up early next week before we get another system that could bring us more snow next Wednesday. So an active weather period shaping up, folks, no matter how you slice it out. Keep it tuned here to southernindianaweather.com for more details as we go throughout this. I'm meteorologist Michael Wilhite. Have a great day, folks.